What's up? What's up? What's up? And welcome to another edition of Man's World. As always, I am Desmond Mosby, and I have my fellas, my homies with me. Say hi to the people, fellas.
Hey,
So,
what's going on?
Y'all, we were just together last week, and we do apologize to you, our faithful audience, who expected us to go live last week. Unfortunately, we weren't able to, but that's because we were out having fun together. Gentlemen, anybody want to talk about our experience last week?
It was great to see the Lakers lose.
Mm, I bet it was. That's why Seth is out for the remainder of the season. Seth is out.
Jokes aside, it was great getting together with everybody for the first time. Um, Honestly, I had a great time, and getting to see literally sports history happening right in front of me. With in case y'all don't know, LeBron surpassed Malone for second of all time scoring. And honestly, he's not that far from surpassing was Kareem. I
No,
think he's
he's
like
not.
two or 3,000 points away that he could
Yeah,
do that in 2 seasons.
yeah.
he's
So,
done a lot already. He's passed
so
Jordan, he's passed Bird, and he passed
he's two.
Magic in a few things.
So I mean, with that, I mean it was a phenomenal experience. It was my
Yeah, it really
first.
was.
It was my first live NBA basketball game, and although our seats weren't the best seats in the world, we weren't courtside. We weren't 100. We weren't 200. We weren't even 300. We were in the 400 section, but it was still phenomenal to be in that atmosphere, like to be in that facility, as Fernando said, to witness history happen as LeBron took second place in scoring. That was phenomenal. And what made it even more phenomenal was that I got to share that experience, certainly with the fellas here. We stayed at Blake's. Kudos to Blake. We ate at the Script Shack, and that experience. You can see some faces here. If you're not familiar with the Script Shack, it was delicious. The fish was good. It's just that at the end of the day, I didn't have no pork in my string beans, and that was on the menu. It said
Man,
pork in the string beans, and it also said pork in the collard greens. And for y'all that had the collard greens, there was no pork in the collard greens, neither was it.
there was no ice in the iced tea either.
There was no ice in the iced tea. They forgot one drink. But all that aside, all the experiences with the food, the experiences with the bad kids that live in Blake's neighborhood, uh, the experience with the taxi driver who's doing 80 miles per hour through DC.
I got a
And
concussion.
yeah, and up there going through red lights. Looked at Blake. It was funny. What was funny to me was the whole time y'all was concerned about my man, and he was speeding and going through the red light. So that's what y'all was talking about. Y'all was like, man, this dude need to slow down. I'm looking behind us just to make sure ain't no van following us, that he gonna take us somewhere and put us in a field or something. So I'm like, wait a minute. But it was a fun experience. The whole Uber ride to DC from my boy Blake's house. We talked about hip hop. Me and my brother Fernando talked about hip hop. We had some great conversation. We got back home to Blake's house. We talked about hip hop. We watched some good comedy specials. Jemon was introduced to Dion Cole for the first time and got to watch Dion Cole stand up, which was hilarious. So we just had a good time. The only thing that was missing was our brother Fish was not there to join us. And with that said, Fish, again, we miss you, brother. We would have loved to have seen you, but certainly this is not the last time that we all come together, right? Let's at least make this every 2 month thing or something. I'm gonna put y'all on that. Y'all determine what we're gonna do next and make this thing happen. All right. So that being said, before we get into today's episode, which is entitled, let me bring it up and away. Want to kind of boast a little bit here. The UNC Tar Heels are in the Elite Eight, and they play at 5:05 today. They play St. Peter's, who is ranked number 15. And they're the first number 15 seed ever in history to make it to the Elite Eight. And they might be the first number 15 seed to actually go to the Final Four. But I must boast and shout out my UNC Tar Heels. I didn't think that they were going to make it this far. Hubert Davis in his first season has brought them all the way to the Elite Eight with potential for them to make it to the Final Four in a matchup which potentially could see them play Duke again, which would be big. I mean, big as a Final Four game. But also shout out to the other ACC teams, Duke and Miami. So the ACC got 3 teams in the Elite Eight. I always say the ACC is the powerhouse conference in college basketball. That's just my opinion. You can hate on it all you want, but just so happy to see them. And even if they don't win today, obviously I'm overjoyed by them making it this far. Blake, with that said, how are you doing on your bracket?
Trash.
I thought you said you was ranked 3rd in your company.
No, I moved back.
Gonzaga lost, so they'll probably do a monkey wrench and everything.
I'm done. I'm like 4th now.
Out of how many?
5. 4th out of 5.
Well, at least you're not last.
So
yeah, I think with Gonzaga losing, that put a monkey wrench in a lot of people's brackets.
I think a lot of people's brackets had a monkey wrench in it the first week. That's the madness of March, though. That's the madness of March, and that's what makes it so great. So I want to move on to today's topic, and today's topic is actually brought to us by Jemon. Jemon is a big Batman fan, if you cannot tell. On one of our previous episodes, obviously he had that man doll that he posted up with, but now he also has his T-shirt on with Batman's logo on it. So we'll defer to Jemon and let him do his thing. Jemon, lead us into our discussion today.
All right. Well, this has been a constant debate throughout the years, not just of me and the people here, but me and just, friends talking, co-workers, people like that. I have my favorite superhero, of course, Batman. And I think that he is not, I don't think he's invincible, but I just think that he is the best out there with DC. And you may have different ones. You may have reasons that yours is different too. Today's episode is going to be who's your favorite superhero now, and give me a legit reason why he should be your favorite. Now I'm gonna start off with Batman being on top. Now, I don't want this to be a 2 or 3 hour show, about just us, going back and forth. But, you give me some legit reasons, and I can, either agree with you or disagree with you, and we can go from there. But I'm gonna start with Batman being on the highest pedestal, and now I'm gonna go with Fernando. Fernando, tell me.
Can I jump in? Can I jump in before you make your next statement? This brother said, I don't think Batman is invincible. You obviously are right about that. Batman isn't invincible. It's not a matter of thinking. It's a matter of knowing he's not invincible. If you shot Batman right here, right here, if anybody was smart enough and shot Batman point blank right here, Batman going down for the count. He did.
Well, hopefully he'll be able to move fast enough now so you can't do that.
He not the Flash.
All right.
So go ahead, Fernando. Prove me wrong, sir.
I want to touch on your Batman. So don't get me wrong. I'll watch the Batman movies. I think Heath Ledger's Joker made that movie, though. But that aside, Batman, he beats up almost to death all the low-level guys, and then gently arrests the Joker, the guy who's killing people all over the city. But he takes the guys who's just trying to make some money to feed his family and puts them in the hospital with medical bills that probably he'll never get out of.
And for him to come back out of the hospital to rob again.
Right. So Batman is a classist and has no problem beating up the poor.
Wow.
But all the top guys, he tries to be real gentle, puts them behind bars, right? That's just my opinion.
The Joker, the Riddler, Two-Face.
Mm.
But let Frankie.
Yeah.
Frankie.
Let Frankie move some stolen VCRs.
Let Frankie move. Batman and broke his ankle, his thumb,
Ruptured spleen.
ruptured spleen. He's sitting in the hospital. And like Fernando said, got medical bills out the wazoo. Got to go back out and rob somebody else to get his butt whooped again by Batman. While the Joker is sitting comfortably in Arkham Asylum.
Right.
Comfortably.
Facts.
All right, very good point made. Very good point made. But
How about this?
who do you got going, Fernando?
One other thing about Batman. All right, I swear I'll leave it after this.
I told y'all this. I knew this was gonna happen. That's why I said, Fernando, let's just get it out the way first with Fernando, because, ladies and gentlemen, this is this right here. This right here. Hold on, let me get my points right. This right here, him was a Fernando. This is not the first time we've argued about this.
It is not. It is not.
It
And
probably won't be the last time either. We just
You
gonna have to agree to disagree on this.
you're also not the only person I've had this argument with.
True. And I try to defend my Batman so much with everything, but at the end of the day, I don't read comic books.
Yeah.
I haven't read comic books like that. I haven't, seen the little sad movies and everything like that.
Yeah.
I only go off of what, I've seen in the movies that I've seen that's been on big screen, and what I've learned since I've, started liking Batman, which is only maybe about 20 years ago. So, I just
think about.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, I mean, I like Superman. I like Flash, and I like all of them. I like everybody in the Justice League. Mine's Aquaman. That's still a debate, but I like everybody in Justice League. But it's it's always fun to just always have your favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think he could use all that money he's putting into gadgets in that Batcave and beef up security forces around the city. But anyways, I'll move on.
Or put it into nonprofit organizations that can really resolve the issues that are happening within Gotham.
Well, there's a direct correlation between lack of opportunity and crime. So maybe he needs to invest in.
Absolutely. Let's create jobs for you so that you don't have to. And guess what? I can pay more than the minimum wage because I'm a millionaire. Right?
Right.
Come on, come work for me. I won't kick your butt no more. I don't have to dress up in a black cape and ears to kick your butt. If you come work for me, you ain't gotta resort to crime. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. That's a good. Yeah, that's good.
So I'll stop giving you a hard time, Jemon. I don't have any real problems with Batman other than those small things. Honestly, my favorite superhero is probably going to be. I would go with either Gambit, if y'all know who he is. Gambit or Wolverine are my top two.
You know what? And as I was thinking about this question, and I was trying to think about who everyone was going to say, right? And I automatically knew Jemon was going to say Batman. I mean, that was a given. I couldn't figure out Blake's, but in the back of my mind, I was like, Fernando looks like a Wolverine guy.
Yeah. Gambit is my first. And for those who don't know Gambit, he has cards that he can throw and make them explode. And he's Cajun. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but
we were just talking about Gambit the other day, Blake and I.
Yeah.
And how he needed his own movie.
Yeah.
At some point.
It'll come.
It will. They were working on one at one point with Channing Tatum to actually play Gambit, but that got canceled.
Yeah, I wondered. Had wondered what happened with that.
Yeah, they're no longer making it. Or it's either shelved or they're no longer making it. It's one or the other. But he was portrayed in the X-Men Wolverine Origins movie. I don't
Oh,
know if
that's right. Yeah,
I don't think that was a good portrayal, but he was portrayed in that movie.
What's the name of that superhero that was quick like Flash in X-Men?
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver, that's him. I like him too, man.
Are there any superheroes that you feel um, like their underlying message is really helpful, right? Like I don't know, like something that they possess spirit wise that makes them above the rest. Not necessarily what you like to see, just like
That's a good question.
the world could actually use something like that.
Ooh, that's good.
That is a really good question.
I'll be honest with you. I think maybe. Ugh, I think maybe Black Panther would be a good one. Fighting for his, fighting for the common good of all people, and just always fighting for his nationality and things like that. I mean, I think that's he's wholesome too.
Yeah.
He's not conceited in any way or anything like that. He just tries to help the common good and more so his ancestors and people like that.
Not really a superhero, but I think I feel like Optimus Prime kind of at times, especially in the recent movies, maybe not so much in the past in the comics and the cartoons, but Optimus Prime kind of fits that description. You know, he's always giving those good speeches to amp people up and get people behind. We need to come together and all that kind of stuff. He does it in that deep voice. We have come to this world and they have accepted us.
Very good, sir.
I
Yeah.
am Optimus Prime. And so I think him kind of doing those spills and those speeches could be something that the world at large really needs. We need to come together.
Or the greatest American hero. Y'all remember that?
Yeah. Of course.
I'm talking about 80s right there. You remember that?
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
What is it? He lost the instructions to the uniform and and can't find out how to use it properly.
That's before my time.
Honestly, I don't remember that part.
That's what I thought happened. The spaceship gave him the uniform, and he lost the directions on it. That was a good series right there. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Soundtrack was good too. So, all right. Well, all right. Thank you, Mr. Fernando. D, I know you have a long explanation about your favorite, so let me hold you to last. So I'm gonna go to. I know, no problem. I mean, ain't no shade in that.
I might not have a long explanation. I might have a short explanation.
All right, D, well, go ahead.
Mine is Spider-Man. And the reason being is because aside from the fact that this brother got bit by a spider, which would not in any way, shape, or form give you those powers, like you would be in the hospital somewhere potentially. But I felt like growing up, he was really one of the most relatable for me, right? Like because he was a teenager going through everyday teenager stuff. Like he had this chick trying to talk to, she ain't want to talk to him, whatever the case may be. He lost his uncle, he living with his aunt May. They ain't really got no money. He going to work at the Daily Bugle, sending pictures. You know, so for me, Spider-Man was really, really, really relatable, especially as a teenager. Like these are everyday teenage problems. And on top of that, oops, I got bit by a spider and now I got superpowers. What do I do with them? You know, so I guess he's it for me. Plus, out of everyone that we've talked about, because Batman had a phenomenal cartoon that I watched when I was growing up. The X-Men with Wolverine and Gambit had a phenomenal cartoon that I watched when I was growing up. But you cannot deny Spider-Man also had a phenomenal cartoon that I watched when I was growing up. So that is my take. That is why I choose Spider. And I could have went anywhere with this. I could have went the Turtles. I could have went the Power Rangers. Not really necessarily superheroes, but heroes. I could have went anywhere, but I went with Spider Man just because I just watched No Way Home again too. So
Phenomenal movie. Phenomenal movie.
phenomenal.
Just to put a little side note in, on TBS channel 31 in Lynchburg, I don't know what it is, and over there in Northern Virginia, but Justice League is on right now.
The Snyder version or
The first version.
got you. What an awful movie. They spent so long trying to catch up to Marvel. Their TV shows are really good, but I don't think the movies have gotten. They're getting better.
I don't
All right.
know.
Huh?
They weren't
I
that
don't
bad.
know. Oh,
They weren't what?
Actually, never mind. I'm thinking of Suicide Squad. You said Justice League. I'm sorry. Yeah, because
Totally two different. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
All right, Mr. Blake.
All right, so I think mine would be Magneto or Wolverine. Will be my top two.
I thought that's not what you told me in Messenger.
I'm
Uh-oh.
switching
I
it up.
like your Messenger responses.
What are you saying there?
His can I tell him?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
well.
you
His Messenger response was essentially Rebecca Romaine as Mystique. Not Mystique. Rebecca Romaine as Mystique. You also said, if I'm not mistaken, what was his name? The one that teleported.
what's his name? Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
oh, that's a good one.
That
Yeah.
is a good
That is
one.
a very good one right there.
yeah. I always liked Nightcrawler as a kid, especially in a cartoon. Back in the day, the X-Men cartoon, he was on there. I remember. Definitely liked him.
I love that heavy on the Wolverine from both of y'all, though. Like Wolverine is legit.
Yeah, I totally went away from the X-Men. I didn't even
Wolverine-
think about that.
He's
Wolverine in the yellow outfit. Wolverine.
with the black joints right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a comment from Mr. Blackness. Says Shazam, Captain Marvel is the greatest, being a young man that can magically gain superpowers by saying one word. That is pretty dope. That
Very
is
good.
pretty dope. He outsold Superman being able to relate as a human versus an alien. So we thank you, Mr. Blackness, for that
Yes.
comment.
Very
And
good.
appreciate you chiming in with Shazam, Captain Marvel. Appreciate you, man.
So I also figured that I also like from the Daredevil, not Daredevil, darn. What's his name? Domino.
Oh, from Deadpool.
Deadpool, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Domino. I like her.
Got you. So let me go back to Blake and Fernando, I guess. Is there like a reason why y'all like Wolverine?
Honestly, when I was a kid, I just loved that he could bring claws out of his hands. I thought that was like the coolest thing ever.
I feel like I like Wolverine since I was a kid. Like I had the costume, I had the claws, like run around the house with the claws and all that. And
We gotta get that
right
picture.
here.
We gotta
You
get that
said
picture.
what?
I said we gotta get that picture.
Yeah,
I
no,
want to see what that look like.
yeah.
Was it the muscle bound one, the one that got the muscles on it?
No,
You
it
know how
didn't
they
have
make
the
the
muscles
suits
on it.
now? It's got the muscles on it.
It didn't have the muscles. No muscles on it. But yeah, I don't know. I've always liked Wolverine.
That's what's up.
He's
Ain't nothing
tough.
wrong with Wolverine.
He's tough.
And he was cool too. Like it was cool to be Wolverine. Like I think like it he epitomized, I guess, what it was to be cool, right? Like he was standoffish. He was an Aquarius.
Is that how you feel?
I knew that was
Wolverine
coming.
an Aquarius.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Logan was an Aquarius. He was just too cool. Too cool. Nah, he might have been an Aries or a Cancer. He could have been. But no, he was the cool guy. He was a lumberjack, right? At one point. He was a lumberjack. He would have pulled Jean Grey, right? Like these are things that we know Wolverine would have been able to do. And like you mentioned, it was just cool to see those. Like he would be in a bar, and as soon as he got angry, them joints would come out one hand, and he'd be one hand and just sitting there. And they're like, Logan, calm down, calm down. Oh man. So I got a question. Are there times when you feel like you could relate to your respective superhero?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not.
I mean, if I'm being honest, like Wolverine, he seems to be an asshole most of the time.
He's an Aquarius.
You know, he's like.
That's just, I mean, if I'm gonna be honest,
I don't know. Batman, I think not really, because I hate doing puzzles or anything like that or thinking above the norm. So I mean, I probably wouldn't relate to him like that. But just him being calm in situations, I guess I may be able to relate to him that way. He doesn't wig out like Hulk or anybody like that. He's more just all right, let's see what happens. Let me think this through, and then we'll let's make some plans on how to do stuff, and then let's execute it.
It don't take much thinking to break somebody's arm, though.
Especially if they're unloading boxes and not paying attention. All right, here's a question: is your favorite superhero the same superhero you would want to be if you could be one, like whatever powers they had?
That's a negative for me now. I will change on that. It'd be Superman. It'd be Superman for me.
Nah, mine would probably be at that point the Green Lantern or Wolverine.
I would just think it's awesome to fly, man. Just to fly around the earth and be there like immediately, man. That'd be dope to me.
Well, I could do that as the Green Lantern, and I got the power ring.
Can you catch me though?
It don't matter if I catch you. Maybe I can summon up kryptonite with the ring.
That's one thing I would have to worry about is kryptonite, I guess.
Mr. Blackness said, yes, like the Hulk, everyone has hulked out before in some way.
That's true. Very true. Very true.
And that Shazam has a dope set of powers.
Looks like you like Shazam, sir.
It ain't no different from you liking Batman.
Who is Shazam?
See, that's the difference. That's the difference. Who is Shazam? Did you ask that?
We did ask that.
Got a lightning bolt on his chest, sir. He said Shazam and transforms into this superhero.
We got to get you caught up on superheroes.
That's old school, sir. That was back. Shazam is old school, sir.
Yeah, but Blake wouldn't be familiar with like known superheroes.
Yeah, I got like 25, 26 Marvel movies I need to watch.
Yeah, you got to watch the whole entire.
All in order.
So Shazam, if you want to think about it, he's like the same as Superman. But
I'm sorry.
He can also shoot lightning, control lightning, and like his power is like not dependent on the sun. So like if you take away the sun, right? Superman can't do much. Shazam is just still Shazam. Ha!
Mr. Blackness is hilarious.
I want to start their card, Blake. Mr. Blackness, what card is that?
Should have just kept my mouth shut.
What card is that, Mr. Blackness? Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that because when you start thinking about it, if you take some of these superheroes, if you take Batman's money, is he still Batman, right? Like if you take the sun away, is Superman still Superman? If you take, the adamantium away, is Wolverine still? He would still technically be Wolverine because he could still, because originally the bones was coming through his hands as the claw, so he technically could still be Wolverine. But yeah, I mean, taking Batman's money away would do some serious hurt to Batman. Same with Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That's very true.
Love.
I had a interesting interaction with somebody on the phone that said that Superman is destroying the earth right now because Superman gets his energy from the sun. And every time he does that, it's depleting the sun's energy toward the earth. So he's kind of killing us.
I don't think that deep.
I didn't think that deep either. I had no idea, but
not about
this was what was brought to me to bring to the show to see how y'all felt about that. I didn't know that he was even that the sun was that important to him, but
So as far as I understand it, he draws his power from the sun rays, right? So the rays are happening regardless of whether he uses his power or not. At least that's how, like I said, I'm with Desmond. Like this is just what I remember from being a kid. I don't even know if that's true or if I'm remembering it right.
Yeah,
I just didn't know that the sun was that important to him. I thought it was just because when he was a baby, that little that little green tube. Was that kryptonite that he had? Like, if you saw Superman 1, the very first one, that green tube that they took out of the thing, and they got his powers that way. That's what I thought.
Well, I mean, again, that is the movie conception of Superman.
But I can't argue if you're dealing with comic books and everything like that. I don't know, so I can't really argue with what I don't know. So.
I'm sure there's people out there much smarter than I am that know all about it.
Right, but
probably had this conversation.
Yeah,
he argued up and down about about Superman hurting the ecosystem of the earth and this and that and the third. And I was like, hey, that may be the case. I can't argue with what I don't know, but I mean,
all that aside, when Superman, regardless of if he's destroying the earth from the sun or whatever the case may be, when Superman gets in a fight with Brainiac or Superman gets in a fight with some random superhero, more so what happens is they destroying the city. Who pays for that? Anybody ever thought about that? Like when the Avengers literally is in New York and they done destroyed half of New York. Who is responsible at that point for paying for that? It's like at the end of the day, yeah, the aliens would have came and probably did the same thing, but y'all literally have blasted a hole in the side of a building or three, right? And so who pays for that?
We do. Taxpayers.
We don't think about all of that. Like that's the stuff that we don't really think about. Like that person is thinking really deep about the sun, but they're not caring about the city getting destroyed because Superman just threw Brainiac into the freaking Tower of London or whatever the case may be.
Taxpayers' money is paying for that.
Taxpayers, exactly.
So
we the ones that suffer.
Believe it or not, I've had this conversation with other people. And it reminds me of two things. Have y'all seen that meme where it's like you get off of work after a 12-hour shift and see Superman pick up your car and throw it only to miss the villain?
I saw that when you posted it.
Yeah.
That is
so me and this messenger group that I got, we just talk about random stuff, whatever pops in our mind. And somebody brought up superheroes and who pays for the damage, and like, would your insurance cover it? So, in my mind, in insurance, there's a clause that says acts of God, right? Well, obviously superheroes aren't a god, but you get my point, right? It's supposed to be like stuff you can't control aren't covered. So Superman or aliens coming through and just blowing up your house by accident or on purpose, you probably wouldn't be covered.
Yeah, you gonna call Allstate like Superman just threw Brainiac into my front window. Well, y'all gonna cover this, and Allstate's gonna be like, well,
What is your deductible, sir?
guess what? Guess what? Guess what? You're not in good hands with us at that point.
Like, what is your deductible, sir? If it's more than
Allstate says,
4,000.
new number. Who's this?
Exactly. We keep getting random phone calls from people that keep saying Superman just throwing people into their living room.
Right.
Mr. Blackness brings up a good point. You're going to give Superman
Right.
a bill?
What's his address? I'm sending him a letter.
An angry one.
Yeah.
He gonna pass him on to Batman.
Mr. Blackness, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give the bill to Lex Luthor to give the
Next time he grabs you, just like slip it in his shirt or something.
This dude Clark Kent seemed to get be talking to him every now and then. Maybe he can get a bill to Superman.
Ah.
But no. Mr. Blackness asks who is paying for Ukraine.
Good. Very good. Mr. Blackness, who's your favorite superhero?
Jemon, he's already said that.
No, but I mean, he said it's Shazam. I think it's Shazam, but I'm talking about with over there where DC is confirmed. DC.
You doing this? Are you really doing this? You want to know who his favorite DC superhero is?
Yes.
Jemon, if I am not mistaken, and I might be wrong here, Shazam is a DC superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right, Mr. Blackness?
Darn, Black. Well,
Mr. Blackness, what cards are they losing?
guess superhero cards.
Is it superhero cards they losing?
Me and you in the hole, Blake.
Yeah, y'all in the hole. Jemon said, "Who's your favorite DC superhero, Mr. Blackness?" He said Shazam. He said Shazam several times, Jemon.
What's everybody's least favorite superhero?
Aquaman. That was quick.
Listen. I'm not gonna lie. I also don't like Captain America. So Aquaman and Captain America for me. Really.
I don't know. I agree with that, Desmond. I do agree with that. That would be my two.
Aquaman is straight trash. Like
why Captain America?
Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm basing Captain America really on the movies. Like I'm not basing it on anything else other than the movies. I did not like Captain America. Just don't like.
I mean, that's reason enough, you know.
But Aquaman is just Aquaman. Somebody was sitting in an office and said, "You know what? We've got a superhero that is dressed like a bat. He's a billionaire. We've got one that dresses like a spider. He's a teenager. We need something for the fish." We need somebody that can represent the sea.
What I want to know is, nobody stopped and said, "All right, what happens when he's not in water?" Nobody posed that question at all.
Nobody did. You know, nobody did. Nobody did.
Great idea.
Great idea. He's gonna talk to the fish.
Well, I'm watching Justice League now, and he's actually. I mean, he's fighting out of water, Fernando. He's doing a good job out of water.
But here's the thing, though. Like, people only like that rendition of him because it's Jason Momoa. They picked Jason Momoa to fulfill all the women's fantasies. Aquaman is gonna be popular because we picked Jason Momoa. If it won't Jason Momoa, you literally could have put anybody in that role and it would have fulfilled its purpose because Aquaman is trash.
Who's your least favorite hero, Blake?
Spider-Man.
What?
I ain't mad at him.
Yeah, I never really was a big fan of Spider-Man. I think I remember it coming on when I was a kid, and I would be waiting on this to come off, to go off, because I think it was Spider-Man and then X-Men that came on in that order. So I end up watching a little bit of Spider-Man, but I ain't never really liked him like that. I know.
You just lost your friend card. I ain't mad at you. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
What's the name of that guy that was with Groot and all them? The main guy?
I'm about to say there were several guys with Groot. Star-Lord?
Star-Lord, yeah, that's another one I wouldn't, I wouldn't put on a high pedestal either for me.
Is that because he's the reason why Thanos got all of the things and put the gauntlet on? Is that why? Is that why?
No, it's not.
Oh.
I just don't really think he does a lot, but that's me.
Nando, who's your least favorite?
You already know the answer to this.
Aquaman?
Batman.
No. Oh. Duh.
I still like the movies, but every time I'm just rooting for Bane or the Joker. No, I'm just kidding.
I love you, Fernando. That won't change.
Well, this is another question. What has been your favorite Batman movie?
Oh, it's definitely the Heath Ledger one, but only because of his performance. I don't like Christian Bale as a Batman. I think Michael Keaton is hands down the best Batman.
Yes,
yes, absolutely.
I think that Heath Ledger's version of the Joker sits and fits with our world today so closely that I think him and Jack Nicholson both have the best versions of their Joker.
I agree. Totally
I agree with that. I can agree with that.
Totally agree with that.
I can agree with that. Those three movies, right? Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises were really coinciding with what was going on and happening in the world. Bane was essentially a great character because of what was going on in the world. Like he was really fighting the Batman that Fernando hates. the system, that whole system, right? Which was dope.
Now, like I said, I don't really like Christian Bale. I like those three Batman movies a lot, but I think the villains pretty much made those movies.
Oh, they did. They did. Kind of like Killmonger in the Black Panther.
Yeah. I'll say this though. I think Christian Bale is a perfect Bruce Wayne, a terrible Batman.
I think I've said that before.
We may have. I know I discussed it with somebody.
Kind of like Val Kilmer was an okay Bruce Wayne, but a terrible Batman. George Clooney was just terrible at both. I'm sorry. George, nothing against George Clooney whatsoever because he's talented, but he's just not meant to play Batman or Bruce Wayne. He was probably the most unbelievable Batman Bruce Wayne combination ever.
Those movies during those times were just going downhill no shade toward Robin or anything. It was just
that's Blake's favorite.
It was a terrible script.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger as
I
Mr.
love that
Freeze.
I actually thought that
Yeah.
Arnold was the only reason the movie was worth anything.
You said Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Nah,
Like I think he made that movie. Him and
I was
maybe,
at Uma Thurman.
I was gonna say maybe Uma Thurman too.
Poison Ivy in that movie.
Yup.
You will probably never see Uma Thurman look that pretty again. I'm sorry, Uma Thurman. I'm sorry, Tanisha Moses. But
So,
Uma Thurman was
Yeah.
hot as I don't know what in that movie. When she put on that red hair. Ooh.
You fool, man.
and then look, then Clooney's reaction.
And Robin is up there like,
Look,
but yeah,
wasn't
so
playing.
So who's a superhero that doesn't have a movie that you would like to see have one? Other than Gambit. I know we talked about
yeah,
that.
I would like to see Flash have one.
I didn't watch the series. I heard it was decent.
Yeah, their shows are phenomenal. Like their shows are on point. It's just the movies, in my opinion, haven't caught up to what the Marvel has done.
Yeah, I would definitely want Flash to have his own movie.
Well, no, this would be a bad answer because he has had a movie, but I don't think his movie was good.
Name it then.
Green Lantern.
I like that movie. But I don't watch it as like a Green Lantern fan. Like I just think
Like
it's a
the Ryan Reynolds movie.
Yeah.
I love Ryan Reynolds. I'm not gonna lie, but I did not like that movie. But if there was one superhero that I think that I would love to see have a movie, Blake, go first. Go first. Let me think.
Somebody off the X-Men, maybe a Cyclops movie, something like that.
Just as long as they don't get the dude that played them in those movies. All right, so Cyclops would be my third most hated superhero. I can't stand Cyclops. And maybe that's because of the power struggle him and Wolverine had. Like I was a big Wolverine fan and was like, yeah, no Cyclops. Maybe Storm.
I like Storm.
Halle Berry.
But she's been in the movie, so I can't think of nobody, bro.
Everybody else got a movie. Everybody else got a movie.
Anybody you could think of?
So I don't know if this counts. I can change my answer if it does. But there was like what was it called? Like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants or something like that. It was like the X-Men's, like all their enemies, like formed their own X-Men group. It basically just did bad shit all the time. So I
think that would be interesting to watch.
I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. If I had to, I think that's what it was. It's been, like I said, this was stuff I read when I was a kid. But if I had to pick like a character, honestly, I would like to see a Magneto movie. Like
that would be dope. That would be so dope.
Do you think the cat that plays Magneto in the younger version of him, of the younger X-Men, plays him well?
I do. I liked his portrayal of Magneto. And kind of like those movies. I did like those movies.
Except for Apocalypse. That was terrible.
Apocalypse was trash, and I didn't like X-Men 3 either. The third one, when she becomes a Phoenix Force, I thought that was trash.
That's who I think should have her own whole entire movie. Jean Grey.
With the Phoenix Force?
With Famke. With Famke. As Famke.
You are.
That's what should be.
He don't care. He don't care if it's Jean Grey. It's Famke. That's all it is. Can Mystique as Rebecca Romaine make an appearance as well, Blake?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I bet she can. Halle Berry come over and they do a cross DC Marvel thing, play Catwoman or something, or Michelle Pfeiffer. This is a good answer. Mr. Sinister from X-Men.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one. What was his name not Cable. What was the other one?
Oh,
Bishop.
Bishop. Yeah.
I would love to see a Bishop movie.
So I like Cable and Bishop, but I figured nobody else knew who they were, so I didn't even bother mentioning.
Yeah, Cable and Bishop, bro. Oh, well, both of them would produce a good movie.
And then, if I don't, like I said, it's been a while, but I think they're from like the same like time frame or whatever.
I want to say they are. All right, so I want to try to wrap this all up, unless there's other conversation that needs to take place. Obviously, we want to thank Mr. Blackness for all of his comments in the chat. Yeah, we love that. But I kind of thought about this from the perspective that we've kind of been talking a lot about self-help and all those pieces. And I believe that we all tend to try to be superheroes in our respective areas on a daily basis, right? Especially as men, whether that be at work, as parents, etc. Trying to hold back emotions, trying to be Mr. Macho all the time, the strength, the backbone of everything. And if it's anything that I've learned from this discussion, it would be that even superheroes, they need breaks, right? And even superheroes, they have weak moments. I mean, we didn't go into detail about them, but they do. They have weak moments. They have moments where they experience defeat. They have moments when they experience failure. They have moments when they experience all those things. And we really, as men, as superheroes, or whatever the case may be, we need to embrace those times as much as we embrace the times that we feel we need to be strong. So that's my little tidbit on the health side of things. How are you taking care of yourself? I want each of you and each of you who are watching, whether they be men or women, to understand that we talked about superheroes today. Yes, we definitely did, but they experience ups and downs just like we experience ups and downs. And with that being said, we need to certainly take those times out to recharge, re-energize, take times out for ourselves to come back and once again be those superheroes that we know we are. So that's kind of how I want to sum it up with this whole perspective of how you taking care of yourself, that recharging, re-energizing so that you can continue to be that superhero and rock it, is my summation.
To touch on, just to add to what Desmond said, a lesson I try to teach my son is that you can do everything right and still lose, but you just got to get up and keep going. And so I think, like, to touch on to add to your point, like superheroes, you see them lose, you see them win, but as long as you keep going, that's the most important part.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think every superhero that we've mentioned here has definitely had an experience where, what Bane broke Batman's back. You know, there have been instances of Superman getting his butt kicked. We've seen he died. Yeah, he showed up dead. He died. Batman went through a whole thing where the Joker killed Robin, and there was that whole thing. At the end of the day, what we need to understand is that in each scenario, each superhero got back up again, as Fernando mentioned. And so with that said, I want you all to continue rising up despite my brothers, to each one of you, I want you all, despite whatever is going on in your life. I believe in each one of you, and I believe in all of our audience out there. Just continue to rise up. And Mr. Blackness has one last comment, and this is for Blake. Blake, get your game up. Shazam movie for homework. Mr. Blackness, Blake has 26 to 27 Marvel movies he has to watch. So we will add Shazam in there for DC, so that he can get on the ball and have a better conversation with us next time.
I just need some time.
You need a lot of time if you're gonna watch all the Marvel movies.
Anybody else want to say anything?
I think you also just gotta remember that we put superheroes out there in the fantasy world too, but those people who are helping out the nurses and the doctors, that are constantly going in and helping out people with COVID and other deadly diseases. I mean, those are your real superheroes too. The people that are in that that are with our armed forces right now. People that are the healthcare workers. People just that are just
And not just those, not just those. If you got a good mom and dad in your life,
right,
working it out, that's doing everything they can, superhero. You got a big brother, a big sister that is emulating phenomenal attributes, superhero. A cousin, a friend,
right,
whatever the case may be, superhero.
right. That's right. Supreme superhero, Jesus too. Just do what you got to. If that's the way you want to think about things like that. I mean, everybody has their own superhero in their own heart who rises above and beyond every single time, and just makes things happen.
Absolutely.
Teachers, yeah.
Anybody else? Well, that wraps up episode what 4? Is this episode 4, season 3? Man, we moving right along, y'all. We just doing the dang thing. I'm so happy. We superheroes, y'all. We superheroes in season 3, episode 4, keeping this thing going and grinding. With that being said, as always, this is a man's world, so it's our world and our rules. We will see you all next week. Nando, you got the topic next week, right? Oh, this is gonna be fun, y'all. We probably gonna be in a heated discussion. He's an Aries. We'll see y'all next week. Peace and love to everybody. Mr. Blackness said above and beyond equals superhero. You are absolutely right, Mr. Blackness. You keep grinding and keep doing your thing as well. Go above and beyond. You are our superhero for the day, for all the conversation that you had in the chat. We'll see you all next week. Peace and love. Fellas, I will see y'all.
Okay, all right. Well, they liked you, man. You did great, brother.